The wrong turn at Willow's Bend. They had been planning this trip for months. Two couples, 6 years of friendship, and one dream destination. The cliffside cabins at Blackwater Ridge, known for their sunrise views and star-spangled night skies. It was supposed to be the perfect escape, a celebration of surviving college, starting careers, and remaining inseparable through all of it. The drive had started beautifully. The fading gold of late evening painted the endless highway, the music blasting loud enough to drown out the stress they hoped to leave behind. Mark and Lila sat in the front, Mark driving, Lila navigating. In the back, Jason and Nia were tangled in a blanket, half asleep, surrounded by snacks, empty energy drink cans, and a single road map they promised they would never actually need. Hours slipped by until the sky dissolved into black, and the road ahead narrowed into a winding ribbon cutting through dense forest. Cell signal flickered on and off, and even the radio surrendered to static. It was almost midnight when the car jerked sharply to the right. What the? Mark gripped the wheel. The grinding sound came next, metal dragging across gravel. Pull over, Lila yelped. Mark guided the car onto a sliver of shoulder and killed the engine. As soon as they stepped out, the smell of pine hit them, along with the unnerving stillness of a forest that felt far too quiet. Jason knelt beside the car and sighed. Flat tire, completely shredded. Great, Lila muttered. Just great. We have a spare, Mark reminded them, forcing optimism that didn't quite fit the moment. But when he lifted the trunk, another issue revealed itself. We're low on gas, Nia said, checking the gauge from the passenger window. Like, the car might not restart low. A problem had turned into two. Okay, no panic, Mark said. We change the tire, then coast downhill until we find station. But the moment he lifted the spare from the trunk, he froze. It's flat too. Silence swallowed them. The cold sank deeper. Jason rubbed the back of his neck. All right, plan B. We flag someone down. Lila glanced up and down the empty road. If someone even comes. But they waited. 10 minutes. 20. A half hour. 3 cars passed. None slowed. Not even when they waved their arms. This is insane, Nia whispered. People don't stop anymore. They don't know who we are, Mark said. I guess I can't blame them. He didn't fully believe that. Then a voice slipped out of the darkness. You kids need help? They all jerked backward. A man stood near the tree lean, as if he'd materialized from the forest itself. Mid-40s, maybe older. Scruffy face. Cold, pale eyes. A hooded jacket that hung too loosely off his lanky frame. Sorry, he said with a slow smile. Didn't mean to scare you. Saw your lights from a ways back. His car was nowhere in sight. Lila stepped closer to Mark. Yeah, we had a flat. And no gas, Jason added. Well, that's no good. The man chuckled softly. Nearest station is 10 miles east. But the forest road's dangerous at night. People get lost. The way he said it made Nia's skin crawl. I've got a cabin nearby, he continued. Spare room. You can sleep the night, head out in the morning. Won't cost you a thing. Jason and Nia exchanged a look, uneasy, hesitant. We appreciate the offer, Mark said carefully, but we should stick with the car. The man frowned. Son, it's pitch dark and cold. You'll freeze before morning. Or worse, something from those woods might wander out. His smile twitched unnaturally. It's safer with me. They weren't convinced. But after another 20 minutes waiting for a passing car, with no luck, the temperature dropping sharply and wind slicing through their jackets, even Mark's confidence wavered. We can stay just until morning, he whispered to the group. Safety in numbers. They reluctantly agreed. The man led them along a narrow dirt path that forked from the road. No estretlits, no signs, only the crunch of leaves underfoot and the sound of twigs snapping somewhere deeper in the forest. When the cabin came into view, it was small and run down, but lit from within by a flickering yellow bulb. The man gestured proudly. Home sweet home. Inside smelled of damp wood and something metallic. The living room was cluttered with old tools, dusty furniture, and blankets draped over broken chairs. But the strangest thing was how quiet it was. No humming appliances, no distant wildlife. Just silence. "I'll get you kids some blankets," the man said, disappearing into a back room. That was when Nia noticed the truck parked just outside the cabin window, the hood partially lit by the cabin light. On it, a smear of dark red. Thick. Fresh. She leaned toward Jason and whispered, "Look at the hood." Jason squinted. "Is that blood?" she whispered. Jason swallowed hard. "Or mud. Or paint. Nobody has paint that color," she hissed. Before they could say more, the man returned. Nia couldn't help herself. "Sir, we saw something on your truck hood." The man froze mid-step. Jason forced a friendly tone. "Yeah, we just wanted to make sure you're all right." The man's jaw tightened. "Oh, that?" he said after a long pause. "Hit a deer earlier. Happens all the time out here." But his answer came too quickly. Too sharp. "Where'd you hit it?" Nia pressed gently. The man's knuckles whitened around the blankets. "On the road." "What?" "You said you walked to us," Jason said softly. "Didn't see a truck." The man didn't blink. "I parked it by the back trail. I walk sometimes. Helps me think." His voice had lost whatever friendliness it pretended to hold. Lila leaned into Mark, whispering, "We need to leave." Mark nodded subtly. "Thank you," he told the man, "but I think we'll head back to our car." The transformation was immediate. The man's eyes narrowed, not with confusion, but with something darker, something hungry. "You're not going anywhere," he said quietly. He reached behind his back. For a moment, less than a heartbeat, they hoped he was scratching an itch or pulling up his waistband. But then the metal glinted in the dim lamplight. A knife, long, jagged, stained with something darker than rust. Nia let out a sharp breath. "Back up," the man hissed, stepping toward them. Into the woods. Jason positioned himself in front of Nia instinctively. "We're not going anywhere with you." "Oh, you are," the man growled. "You can shout all you want out here. Nobody hears screaming this deep." He gestured with the blade. "Move." They hesitated. Then he lunged. "Go!" Mark yelled. They stumbled backward toward the cabin door, but the man herded them out instead, forcing them toward the backyard and the black mouth of the forest beyond. "Keep walking," he ordered, "and don't try anything stupid." The trees swallowed what little moonlight remained. Every direction looked the same, dark, endless, suffocating. Lila gasped suddenly. "Wait, look!" Far beyond the trees, faint but unmistakable, blue and red flashing lights. A sheriff's patrol car, creeping along the main road. "Help!" Lila screamed, her voice cracking. The man snarled, "Shut up." But they screamed again, Mark, Nia, Jason, yelling until their lungs begged for air. The man hesitated, eyes darting toward the lights, toward them, toward the forest. Then he bolted. He vanished into the trees so quickly it was as if the darkness swallowed him whole. Seconds later, the beam of a flashlight cut through the clearing. "Sheriff's Department," a voice called. "Is everyone all right?" They practically collapsed with relief. The deputies listened in stunned silence as the couples explained everything. The flat tire, the stranger, the knife, the blood. Officers swept the cabin and forest, but the man had disappeared without a trace. Just footprints leading deeper and deeper until the trail faded entirely. "He knows these woods," one deputy muttered. "Too well." They filed an incident report, but the sheriff shook his head sympathetically. "If you're from another state, following up from there will be difficult. We'll keep the case open, but men like him know how to stay hidden out here. It wasn't comforting. By sunrise, the deputies had found a local mechanic to tow their car and fill their tank. They were finally able to leave. As they drove away from Willow's Bend, no one spoke. Not for miles. Not until the forest thinned and the open highway welcomed them back to a world that felt brighter, safer, normal. But none of them would forget the man in the woods. The blood on the hood, the knife, the silence of a forest that almost swallowed them. 6 years of friendship had brought them to that night. Surviving it bonded them in a way none of them wanted, but all of them appreciated. And every time they passed a lonely stretch of road on future trips, they locked their doors, checked their tires, and whispered a silent promise. Never follow a stranger into the dark.